Crack pipes and classified documents. What the hell is going on in this administration? Hey, ladies and gentlemen, and we're back. Now, I'm filming this on Sunday so it can post on Monday, but before we get started, please like, share, subscribe. Let me know what you think in the comments. That's really how you can help the channel out the most. If you don't agree with what I'm saying, go ahead and tell me in the comments. We'll have a civil discussion about it. Maybe we'll do a video together. Now, as we're going through this, I've actually been watching playoff football all weekend for wild card weekend, and I don't remember ever sitting down and watching this many football games over a weekend. But it's actually kind of cool because they've all been some really good games, which is pretty awesome. Until tomorrow night, and the reason I'm filming this tonight is because when this video posts, I'll be waiting to watch my boys beat the Bucks. That's right, they're going to do it. All right, now, what do we got? We got classified documents. We got more things going on in this administration that are bad than we can count. We also got Representative Ming of New York wants 16-year-olds to vote. Let's see, where are we going to get started? All right, let's start with the classified documents. Now, my question is, will Joe Biden be treated the same way that President Trump was with classified documents? Or is the FBI going to show up with a search warrant at his various properties and start going through everything and then lay everything out for nice pictures to get leaked to the news? Are they going to do that to him? The answer is probably no, and it has nothing to do with him being president. It's because he's a Democrat. And part of the problem with that is, and I firmly am convinced as to leadership, the average FBI agent working a field office, working HRT, or any of these other things, or any federal law enforcement officer, they're just out there trying to make this country a better and safer place for us as citizens. Now, the politicalization of their leadership, it ends up having people look at them like they're doing something wrong when all they're trying to do is their jobs. As far as classified documents go, there's a big naughty black dog, stop. You remember I warned you about that before when I was filming with her in here because you run around and crack cats in here too. And they have an uneasy relationship. So maybe for the second segment, I'll grab crack cat so y'all can see her because y'all haven't seen her for a while, probably over a year now. But with these classified documents, one of Trump's arguments was he declassified them as he was leaving office, which as the president, he has a right to do. Now, on the other hand, the classified documents found in various places with Biden, his think tank in his home, he was vice president. The vice president does not have any way, is not allowed to declassify documents. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, here is crack cat. I still got him. We've been together for a while now. And he's still as ornery as he ever was. So keep that in mind here. You want to look at the camera, crack cat? There you go. See? There he is. Look at the camera. Look at the people. Say hi. Say like, share, subscribe, and comment. There you go. You can stay on my lap. You leave the cat alone. All right, back to what we were talking about. The vice president has no power to declassify documents. That's just not the way the system works. I hate to say it for all you people out there that love and think Joe Biden is the second coming of Christ. He's not. In fact, there are more issues in the last 2 years than I think I've seen in my entire life. And it all comes down to one thing. He's not an effective executive. He was barely an effective vice president because he really didn't do a whole lot. But now as president, he's doing even less, and what he decides to do just doesn't seem to work out. I can't remember who it was about 10 years ago that said Joe Biden had been wrong on every foreign policy decision in 20 years. And I 100% agree with that, without a doubt in my mind. Now, let's start counting some of these things that are going on since he took office. Or during the election, the laptop, Hunter's laptop, which was suppressed and nobody wanted to talk about. You got Hunter's businesses. Is there undue influence, or are they avoiding saying things about China? Is he getting a cut from these businesses? Because according to some places, there's been audiences with him that were set up by Hunter Biden, which influenced people that did business with Hunter. Now, he's done nothing to deal with inflation that we can see. You get, well, they need to bring wages up. Well, if they bring wages up, then costs go up with them. I mean, a dozen eggs, which cost 89 cents in January of 21, is now almost twice that. So what does that say to the average American when they're trying to feed their families? Now, you got a debacle at the border. You can say whatever you want. I think our immigration policy is broken too, and we need to redo the whole thing. You know what? There's been no momentum from either side, Republican or Democrat, to fix that broken system. There hasn't been, and there probably won't be in my lifetime. Why? Because it's a great talking point, but nobody ever really does anything about it. Nobody cares to do anything about it. Now, since he's been president, there hasn't been a true investigation into the origins of COVID. We've talked about it a little bit, and they've said this, they said that, and you have your suspicions and this and that. How about a true investigation? And if it turns out Fauci was involved with the funding for the research, hey, there might be a legitimate reason, and it was leaked. Do I think it was on purpose? No, I honestly don't. But do I think we need to actually identify what happened? Yes, we do, and we need to hold people accountable if they should be held accountable. Now, appointing Pete Buttigieg to the Department of Transportation, that has got to be the biggest policy failing in the last 4 presidencies. Can this guy get anything right? I saw that meme where he fell asleep with his hand on the red button to shut down the airlines. That is what we're living with right now. Why? Because they appointed him as opposed to somebody that actually knew what the hell they were doing. Now, add classified documents to it. Even news agencies, which have shown themselves to be pro-Democrat since the Clinton administration, are now coming out and talking about it. I think the Democratic Party is done with Joe Biden. I think his chances of running for re-election are null at this point. So that leads to the question, who's going to replace him? Is it going to be Kamala Harris? Which I don't think is going to be any better, because as the Attorney General of California, she did nothing to free known people that had been proven innocent. She did nothing to get them out of prison. In fact, she kept them there to fight wildland firefight.
Naughty Black Dog says, like, subscribe, and share.
All right, back to Kamala Harris, because I kind of stuttered on that one. But she kept people that had been proven innocent in prison because it was wildfire season and they were wildland firefighters with the Department of Corrections, which is a pretty dangerous job at the best of times. But imagine a known innocent man that's still doing that because he's left in prison and she does nothing to get him released. And she's proud of stuff like that. Moving on. Okay, Representative Ming of New York. Here's what I would like to say to you. Are you really that stupid? Giving 16-year-olds a right to vote. How many 16-year-olds have you been around? What did you do when you were 16? When I was 16, I was not mature enough to vote by any means. In fact, we know 16-year-olds aren't mature enough to do a lot of things, which is why the drinking age is 21, which is why smoking, you have to be over 18. In some places, like here in Columbia, you have to be over 21. To own a weapon, you have to be 21. To get married or to go in the military without a parent signing for you, you have to be 18 or over. Now, you want to drop the right to vote to 16? Okay, well, let's do this. Then from now on, 16-year-olds are given the same rights, responsibilities, and negative things that everybody above the age of 18 gets. Or over 21. Let's drop the drinking age to 16. They do it in Europe. Gun ownership, 16. If you're arrested for a crime, you're now an adult at 16. No, because the argument with that is the human brain is not fully matured, depending on what you read, which expert you listen to, until approximately 25. I think that's about the agreed upon area where most people have reached full maturity mentally. So why are we dropping the voting age anymore? I look at 40-year-olds all the time, and I'm wondering, not who did they vote for? I'm just trying to figure out how they survived life for 40 years, let alone being smart enough to make a mature, intelligent decision on who to vote for. Now you take a 16-year-old who, yes, they are very politically active. They're also very naive. They're also still figuring things out. And many of them will change their thoughts on other things as they grow and mature. letting 16-year-olds vote, that's, Representative Ming, I got nothing for you. It's one of the dumbest things I've heard. How about you focus on fixing immigration, something like that, or dealing with inflation? Because letting 16-year-old vote is not the answer. Statistics show us people generally become more conservative as they get older. So the big push for Democrats for 16-year-olds to vote is because they know the majority of that vote will go to them. Just like letting illegal immigrants vote. The majority of them are going to vote Democrat. Although the really funny part is our largest immigrant population is Hispanic. Hispanics are very conservative. They're church going. They're very family oriented. Part of the problem that's been made is conservatives have not done enough to reach out to them. And I don't know, maybe fix immigration. I've talked about it before. I've gone through the immigration process. It is very complicated. It is very time consuming. It is expensive. And those forms are hard to understand. And I'm a fairly smart guy that speaks English as a first language. So if I have problems figuring it out, I can understand why somebody who speaks English as a second, third, or fourth language has problems figuring it out. Which entails either finding somebody to do it pro bono or paying an attorney, which is expensive on top of the actual immigration fees. Now, if we actually fix the system and we turn these 12 to 13 million into legal residents where they fully pay taxes, but they're also afforded full protections and they're not scared to go to the police. Most of them work hard. 99.9% of them are here to work hard, support their families, and give those families a better life. It's the same reason all of our ancestors came here. So why should they not be given the same chance? Because you can fully alert DOD and all federal law enforcement, and you're not going to find them. You're not going to catch them, and you're not going to send them home. So let's actually do the right thing and give them a path to citizenship. And as far as 16-year-olds getting a right to vote, that is the most ridiculous thing I've heard in a long, long time. They're not mature enough, which is why their parents are still held responsible when they do something wrong. Or if you're going to do it that way, then we open it all up. They become full adults at 16, which includes all the good stuff. It includes all responsibilities for their own actions. It also includes the criminal justice system, which I don't agree with, which is why I don't agree that 16-year-old is old enough to vote. But hey, ladies and gentlemen, as you're watching this, I'm going to be watching my boys win. Please like, subscribe, share with your friends. Let me know what you think in the comments. That's the best thing you can do to help the show. If you disagree, go ahead and hit dislike and tell me why in the comments. All right, everybody have a great evening. And remember, dare to fail greatly.